Thanks, Nick, and echo what Nick said. Long weekend, not only long weekend, Friday night, pretty close to beer o'clock, to come out and share some coaching, share some ideas. We really appreciate it. Always impressed when I come to Tassie around the culture of basketball. I've been coming here for different things in basketball, be it Seaball or Australian Junior Championships, or now in this role for 30 years. And I'm always impressed with the culture and the people around it. So it's great to see some familiar faces and hopefully meet some new faces. We're going to talk about cutting today. And we'll give you these notes after, but if you think about the three foundations of basic offense, if you break it down into the three tenets, spacing, I think we do a great job in defining spacing now. You know, if you look at the NBA, you look at the WNBA and pro leagues, I think spacing's in a really good place. We spread the floor, there's a lot of 5 out, there's a lot of 3-point shooting, so I think spacing's in a pretty good place. Ball movement, same thing. I think players pass the ball okay, but what they certainly do is put the ball on the floor. They move the ball via the dribble and create opportunities from there. So those two things I think are, we can always improve on them. But if I was to say which of the three basic tenets of team offense is not in good shape, our young players aren't doing well, and we're not doing well as coaches, it's cutting, player movement. So you think about it, since Shep was a pup, we spoke about the three foundations of offense. We need spacing, we need ball movement, but we need player movement. A lot now is predicated on dribble penetration and at least 3, sometimes 4 guys queuing up at the 3-point line to shoot the ball. Young players see their heroes in the NBA. You've got teams now in the NBA taking 45, 50 threes a game. If you think about that, say when Nashi was playing in the NBL, if a team took 20 threes in a game, the coach is probably unhappy and we don't have a great balance. Now, if we take 20 threes, the coach is unhappy for the other reason. Hey, we haven't got enough up. We've got to get 35 minimum if we're going to win, all right? And what that's done is it's impacted cutting. So why do we cut? We want to create an advantage. In everything we do offensively, create an advantage, and no pun intended to my colleagues here, but we want to create dominoes, all right? So if I dribble penetrate and I beat my man, there's one domino down, right? Someone's got to help. I kick to them, there's another domino down. And effective offense is about attacking those dominoes, all right? So we want to create an advantage. How do we do it? We want to create an advantage for the cutter. We want to create an advantage for the player with the ball. And we'll go through this, but if Mark cuts and creates space and I've got the ball, now I can penetrate on that, right? So we're advantage for the cutter, advantage for the guy with the ball, and an advantage for another teammate. And we'll talk about that. So Nick makes a cut, creates space, I've got the ball, Gareth makes a cut on his heels. So there's the 3 sorts of advantages that we want to try and get done through cutting. That's how we're going to create dominoes. One cut's going to shift defense and make sure it's in rotation. A second cut is going to punish that rotation. Defensively, what do you hear coaches talk about all the time? We want to stay out of rotation. We want to keep everything in front. And I don't know if anyone saw that, the Denver Nuggets early in the week, the fast break, 4-on-1 to win the game. Jamal Murray's flying down the floor and 3 guys ran to the 3-point line and stood. There was 1 defender and they lost the game. All right? If one guy cut, game. All right? Here's some general thoughts on cutting. Offensively, we want to get more cuts at the rim than our opponent. So in the age of statistics and analytics, that's one that I want my assistants or my manager to take. I want to get more cuts at the rim than the opposition. All right? And I know with our Boomers, our national team coach, Brian Gorgian, one of the things he's wanting to add to a really successful system with the Boomers is just getting more cutting, more worthwhile cutting. Basketball's a game of opposites. In other words, if I want to go there, what do I normally do on a basketball court? I go there first. If my defender wants to take this away, what do? Then I go there. Two most important words in offensive basketball, if and then. If they overplay, then I back cut. If they trail, then I curl cut. All right, so we need to get the players those tools. Don't fight pressure. How often do you see it now with young players? The guard's coming down the floor and the wing's been denied and the kid's doing this. It's like Dancing with the Stars. Don't fight pressure. As soon as you see that pressure, just back cut. If you think about the great Melbourne Tigers teams in the 80s and 90s, one of the highlight was their ability to back cut. You know, with Andrew Gaze, obviously an elite shooter, but he was an elite cutter. All right, that's why that thing worked. If you can get 5 back cuts a quarter, you'll win every quarter you play. And I don't mean back cut layups. I don't mean back cuts to a score. If you can just get your players 5 times a quarter, 20 times a game to read and just go. You're going to put so much pressure on the defense, you're going to create so many dominoes that good things will happen. See a head, see a shoulder. And I got that just this week. I was driving to Sydney to run a clinic. I was listening to a podcast, an Irish coach by the name of Paul Kelleher. And we always want things, little action phrases and coaching cues that help us teach. So what he means by see a head, see a shoulder, all right, if I'm here and I look at my defender and I see their shoulder, it means they've probably got vision of me, so I maintain space. If I see the back of their head, unless they can see out of their derriere, they can't see me, now I'm a cutter. So as a simple cue for young players, how's 4 words? You know, see a head, see a shoulder. And then they can make decisions from there. And I was driving the car, so I didn't write it down. I got on Siri and made a note so I could think about it later on. So there's the preamble of what we're going to do. The last thing I'll say is our job as coaches is to broaden the literacy of our players. All right? And I don't mean reading and writing. Our job as basketball coaches is to improve their basketball literacy, their understanding. All right? So we're going to talk about offensive literacy today. You know, you hear all the time kids don't have great physical literacy because we don't have PE in schools and they don't ride bikes, they don't climb trees. It's the same here. The modern game with 3-point shots and dribble drive penetration has taken away a fundamental skill of the game, and that's cutting. So just think about that as you coach. Are you broadening their literacy? Yes, you want to win, right? But are you giving them the tools so if they move to Devonport to take up an apprenticeship, they can walk down there and they can play basketball because they just know how to play. They don't know your system, they know how to play. All right, so we'll just make a start here now. So we're going to start with 2-on-2 plus 1, jump the cut. So it'll be simply as this. I need an unguarded player over there. All right, give me O and D here. He's got the ball. And O and D here. Quick. You guys just jump behind so you can rotate in. Get rid of your basketballs. You might need a 6 because they'll be using a 7. We want to teach out of small-sided games as much as we can. Same podcast, I don't know if anyone heard it, right? The guy used the term games of purpose. So we say small-sided games. He said, as you teach, you want to have games of purpose. So a drill that links to what you're going to do in a game, all right? A lot of these drills will be numerical advantage, numerical disadvantage. So here, it's 2-on-2, but the ball carrier is not guarded. So he's probably going to be the best passer since Larry Bird. Right? He's not being guarded. So if someone's open, they're going to be able to get the ball. So it's an advantage for who? The offense. It allows the offense to have what? Success. And I don't know if there's any educators in the room, but we know that success is a huge part of learning. You know, my kids are 9 and 11, and they try something for the first time. What do they say? Oh, I can't do it. Oh, funny that you can't ride your bike. It's the first time you've ever been on a bike in your life. Funny that you can't ride to Sydney. We're going to have to try it. You're going to have some level of success, and it's same with players. So the drill was this. You guys are going to be drill friendly. So actually start the ball there. So you're going to throw the ball there. You're going to jump to the ball aggressively, all right? What's your read now as a cutter? No, you're still guarding him. What's your read as a cutter? Yeah, see your head, see his shoulder, right? But not just that. If you see a straight line to the basket, what's your read? Cut. The obvious thing to do is usually the obvious thing to do. You see, when you ask him questions, he was like, well, what's he want me to say? Well, mate, what would you do in a game? That's why we want to play out of small-sided games. It's not a drill, it's a game, all right? So you're going to cut hard to the halo, all right? I don't know what you call it in Tassie. We call this the charge halo. You're going to lift, you're going to replace him. Go. Now, you're going with him, yep. You're going to deny that. What are you going to do? Right? You're going to cut. Anytime you can throw it, you're going to throw it. All right? So if you don't get it, you're going there, you're denying it. Now, this is a key point. He's got to get to a floor spot. You see then, he's playing the drill. The guy denies it. Well, look at this spacing. It's no good. So you've got to drag him to this high out. You're denying it now. Because what we want, remember, are as many cuts as we can at the front of the rim. So if he cuts from here, he's right at the front of the rim. Come back. If he cuts from where he was going to, he's at the side of the rim. You might say, big deal. It is a big deal. What's one of the tenets? We want to get more cuts at the front of the rim than our opponent. All right? If it's at the front of the rim, it's hard to help. If he cuts from here, and I'm loaded up here on the low eye, all right, I can impact him. If he lifts there, and he comes right down the pipe, it's harder for me to make a decision. That's why we want to get angles. We want more cuts on the front of the rim than the other team. Now, I said this term for 25 years. Cut hard. So I'd set this drill, I'd say cut hard. I realised in 25 years not one player had a clue what I meant by cut hard. What does cut hard mean? Right? What does that mean? Perfect. We set this up, Gareth and I, beforehand. That's exactly what we want to use. Cut with intent. What does cut hard mean? I said to my little bloke, I said, you got to cut harder. So he passed it. He's doing it harder, all right? So cut with intent to score. Every cut's a scoring cut. All right, ball there. All right, now we're going to go, as soon as there's a score, you guys are in. You guys are in. You can stay the passer, my friend. Play, here we go. Good. Next, let's go. Clear the drill. Next, let's go. So let's not pretend players are very smart. We had gold guarding gold, yellow guarding yellow, white guarding white. All right, here we go. Same. Good, cut. Good. Last one, here we go. Speed, cut with intent. Good. All right. So for a warm-up, I'm just going to go straight to that drill. All right. We're loading success to the offense. The defense has still got to work. They're getting their heart rate up, blood flowing. You know, they're getting a burn on it, and they're just used to making cuts. And they're just used to any time there's denial, they're at the front of the rim. Now, same situation, you be the passer, you jump in, friend. Quick. All right, start with the ball. Now, as you pass it, you're going to do one of two things. The defense shall be your instructor. You're either going to stay there. Now, what's the cut? All right, you're going to go over the top side, all right, and get to the basket that way. So if he doesn't jump to the ball, all right, you're going to go there. If he does jump to the ball, you're going to go there. So you're his instructor, all right? So just go through, all right? Just walk through. Now, on this, good job, keep out there. Same with that. If you don't deny it, you're going to go to what we call the high out. You've got to get to your spacing spots. If you see he's not denying, catch it, boomerang it, jump to the ball. What are you cutting now? All right, so now we're getting into read defense. So the defense shall be the offensive player's instructor. So you're either jumping to the ball or you're staying. You're either denying or you're not. All right? And then you've got to figure it out. And we've got to get cuts and we've got to get baskets. You've got to hit people in stride. Plate. Good. Hard cut. Good. Yep. Good. Good cut. Good job. Next. Read it. Good cut. That's all right. Next. Good. Good cut. All right, and usually hold up, girls. Usually we would two-way teach. The defense is horrible, all right? I told them that the defense shall be their instructor. I didn't say the defense would be a charity. So usually we'd two-way teach. We'd get the defense to get in really good stance, get denial, snap head on the back cut, all those things. But this is about you, it's not about them right now. The advantage in this drill also is the passer. All right? He is learning to throw what we call passes with intent. If you see a hand, that player's open. All right? Now, of course, you've got to see help, but if you see a hand, that player's open. If my defender's there, the ball's with Mark, and my hand's there, what do I catch with? I don't catch with my mouth. That's what we want to do. So them understanding that is really important. So as the build-up, just put a defender on. Put a defender there, quick. So now so girls, you're going to have to jump in. Quick. No. You need to be, yeah. All right, so now, all we want the defender to do on the ball is just make it a bit more realistic. So now that player can't stand and just throw rope passes, they've got to go. So all you're going to do, right, is just mirror the ball, and now you've got to find an open window to cut with. Ball starts here. So you either jump to the ball or don't. It's either back cut or front cut, and we're playing. Everything's on the front of the rim. Go. Good. Hard. Read it, boomerang it, go, good cut. Quick, speed, Speed, good cut. Plate. Good. Next, rotate through, work out how you're going to do it. Good. And from there, hold up, from there you just play 3-on-3. You want to get high level repetition, high level of success. The skill or the concept that you're trying to create, you want to create a high level of success. So why do we do it the way we do it? Give the offense confidence. Now they're making cuts and they think the game's easy. All right? We add a constraint. Put a defender on there that is just mirroring the basketball, and we would finish. This is where it goes from being a small-sided game to a game of purpose. Now it's 3-on-3. So, ball back here, you back here, you're in the corner. Now we link it to what actually happens in a basketball game. So you're going to come down on the dribble up here, come and guard him. Now it's cutting. So everything we just worked on, we're working on here. So you're on the dribble, you're sending that. Where's the open space? Right through there. You're flying. If you can give it to him, give it to him. You're guarding him properly now. You're getting up here to his floor spot. If he's there, no. If he's there, get it. Now you can send it there. If he jumps to the ball, what's your read? Cut, all right? If you don't send it there, come back quickly. You hit, he jumps to the ball, what's your cut? Bang, what's your cut? And now we're playing 3-on-3. Everything with a cut. One thing, if you want to impact cutting, you're going to have a window in your practice where you ban the ball screen and you ban the dribble handoff. All right? Because what do they want to do? Everyone thinks that Steph Curry, they want a ball screen. When they can't get open, what do? They want a dribble handoff. Those things aren't bad, but they're the ruination of cutting. So if I'm doing a cutting segment, I'm saying no ball screens, no screens of any description, no dribble handoff. So when I say play, that's exactly what you're doing. Under those rules, but you're playing basketball. Play! Good. Read it, good. Good, boomerang it, cut it. Good. 4 spots, good. What do you got? Good cut. Now, stop. They're doing a great job of being compliant. All this cutting has got to be with intent. It's got to be with a purpose. So we either want to get on the front of the rim via the cut, but how else do we want to get on the front of the rim? The dribble. The game's not played in isolation. Everything's linked. Now they're trying to be compliant, and remember, I'm teaching you, I'm not teaching them, so they're trying to figure it out. But a couple of times there was a lunge in denial and you caught it. So he lunged, give it to him. What's your play now? Yeah, straight line drive, where? The front of the rim, all right? Now, as you drive, he helps. What's your rule? CA, shoulder. So you see a head, what's your cut? All right? And if you can add cutting off via penetration, now you're hard to guard. And we'll get to that. You're in it too, my friend. So you can cut, and if you cut though, what are you probably going to have to do? Yeah, just replace yourself. But we're looking to play. So there has to be 2 cuts to start it, but other than that, we're playing basketball. Offensively, pressure on the front of the rim via the cut, pressure on the front of the rim via the pull through. And what I mean by pull through, I catch it, Gareth takes it, I pull it through, and now I'm on the front of the rim. All right? All this will link to what they want. 3-point shot. We just got to trick them to do some other stuff first. All right, let's go. Let's play it. Hard cuts. Good. Cut with intent. Send it or boomerang it. Good. What do you got? Good cut. Good girl. What are you doing? See your head. See your shoulder. Good. Good. Move. Play now. What do we got? All right, stop. Freeze. Come back here. Now again, they're trying to be compliant, but not only did the shot clock go off, the stadium's closed and everyone's gone home and they're still playing offense. All right? 24-second shot clock. So what have we got to add now? We've spoken about cutting. We've spoken about pull-throughs to get a straight line drive on the front of the rim. The next thing is drive on the back of the cutter. So if we're moving it and you hit that and make a great cut with intent, he's chasing tail, stay there, he's worried about elite shooter, so he stays, you go. What's your play now? Yeah, one-on-one. All right, you've got to get him to understand. 1-on-0, in other words, there's no one in front of you, rip it through, 1-on-0, get it and go. 1-on-1, get it done. 1-on-2, so now come. 1-on-2, not for you. So what's that mean? Make a pass. So now he's 1-on-0, get it and go. The rest of that, 1-on-3, come and sit with me. 1-on-4, play no more. All right? And if you're a coach under 12s, 1-on-5, you're going to be lucky to get out of here alive. All right? So now we're trying to create dominoes through cutting, through rip-throughs, or through driving on the back of a cutter. Play. Good. Good. Send it. Good. What do we got? What do we got? Good. Pretty good. All right. And you've got to be comfortable with the mess. Remember, it's not a drill. They're practicing what happens in a game. And that was pretty good. There was worthwhile cutting. All right. There was a worthwhile pull through. And then we got a good score. All right, or a good shot. So now, let's go 4-on-4. So we got seam, seam, wing, wing. Quick. And you just rotate yourself in, all right, when you can. As much as possible, we got to practice what happens in the game. And to practice what happens in a game, we've got to get more people on the floor. I'm not a huge advocate of everything's 5-on-5, although there's a lot of people now in the world that say the game's played on 5-on-5. That's how we should practice. But 3-on-3, 4-on-4 should be 70% of your practice. Now, think of it, you go, well, that's a lot. Well, you've got offense, you've got defense, you've got the various skills and concepts. Can you teach the bulk of it 3-on-3, 4-on-4, or at least 2-on-2 plus an unguarded passer? Why do we need to do that? The modern player is constantly thinking, get to the point. Come on, coach, get to the point. Why? That's how they live their life. Let's get to the point. Patience is a virtue, but it's not a virtue young people have. All right? Why are we doing this? When are we going to move to the next thing? What's the outcome? I need a result. Let's go. I'm over the process. I need outcome. Now, we've got to be the adults and drive the process, but we've got to trick them. So in cutting, we used to do a whole series of 1-on-0, 2-on-0 cutting drills. You know, basket cut, back cut, forward lead. And that's not wrong when you've got littlies. They need to learn that. But once they've got that fundamental foundation, Now you've got to get them to do it in a game-like setting. You've got to get to the point. So 4-on-4 seam cutting. So as you come down, any time that you make a pass, you've got to make a cut. So if you hit that, he jumps to the ball, what's your read? You're making that cut. Now where are you going? All right, fine. If he's going to that corner, what have you got to do? Yeah, you've got to create that. You've got to hold, go, you're right. All right, so you can hit corner and then lift. You've got to lift. We want to get that seam spot. We want to get that great shape as much as we can. All right, if you hit that now, anytime you make a pass from the seam, you've got to cut. He doesn't jump to the ball. You front cut him. Where are you going? Think about this. Don't fight pressure. Where are you going? Well, where's he? Right there. Who's over there? No one. So you're going to cut there. What have you got to do? You've got to lift. You're going to hit. What have you got to do now? Any time from the seam, you've got to cut. All right? Now, you might make a pass. What have you got to do? Cut. She's gone that way. What have you got to do? Yeah, hopefully by the dribble. A new rule called, yeah, right? You're out there. So the only rule is any seam pass, so any guard forward or guard to guard, they've got to cut. All right? But the other part of cutting is spacing. So they've got to find an empty corner. And, you know, where's my man? Over there. He said, oh, I've got to go there. Well, the obvious thing to do is usually the obvious thing to do. All right? If there's a car crash, you know, going back into town and there's another way to go, which way are you going to go? Oh, there's a car crash. Oh, looks like we're going to sit here for an hour. When everyone's driving the other way, like, what's Nashi doing? Why didn't he just go? Why is he fighting pressure? Why he just doesn't do the obvious thing? All right? All that, you've got to maintain shape. So you've got to be up here, wide seam, you know, wider. Every cut is at the front of the rim. So if he jumps to the ball, I'm front of the rim this way. If he stays stagnant, I'm front of the rim this way. Everything's a great target hand, and passes, you've got to be ready to make a pass. Play. Good. Move it, move it, move it, move it, move it. Cut. Good. Good. Read good. Move it, move it. Good. Oh, good cut. Good. Stop. Good, guys. You got to be comfortable with the mess. You see that? Like, that's where you got to be silent. Now, not much you can do in a coach's clinic if you're silent, but as a coach, sometimes you got to be silent. All right? You know, pass it, cut. No. All right? Got to let them find their way in it. That's why we want to play these games of purpose, small-sided games, and they got there. But all I would say if I was coaching them, I'd be comfortable with the mess. I'm not worried about the aesthetics of the drill. It's about them. It's not about me. I don't care if Gareth's saying, oh, God, he's a terrible coach. This is a terrible drill. It's about what's happening out there. Can they make decisions? Guys, all I would say to you is, can you back cut? How many back cuts did we get? Genuine back cuts then? Not many. And remember, if I catch it and it's a lunge, what are we doing? We're pulling through with the front of the rim on the dribble. So yes, you want to cut, but you can't play the game in isolation. One of the reasons that they took so many passes, what were they desperately wanting to do? Ball screen, dribble handoff. What do they do 20 times a game? Now, you know, my daughter's got a little silk thing she sleeps with every night. If I take it away, she doesn't sleep. I've just taken away their silky. They're silky as the ball screen. They're silky as the dribble handoff. No, right? We're praying to a new Lord, and that Lord is cutting. Let's go. Yep, good. Good, move it, move it, move it. Oh, oh. Good, what do you got? Good. White ball, let's go. Quick, come on. Cut with intent. Good cut. Another good cut. Work it out, work it out. All right, that was pretty good. There was a lot of cutting there. Now what happened, they got out of shape, didn't they? We didn't perfectly have 2 guards, 2 wings a number of times. So that's a disaster, isn't it? No. You know, forever in coaching offense, we talked about alignment. We've got to have this alignment with 2 guard alignment, 3 out, 2 in alignment, 5 out alignment. All right? It sounds like you're working at KPMG. That's not how basketball is. You don't come down anymore, all right, and go, right, everyone ready? Everyone in the right spot? Ready? Go. That's why teams don't play shuffle anymore. Nothing wrong with a shuffle offense at all. Tough to do in a 24-second shot clock. 30 seconds, that's hell on wheels trying to guard that thing. All right? So don't worry about the alignment. Just make sure they got space and they're moving the ball, moving themselves. Let's go one more time. Here we go. Good. Go. Hard cut. Good. Good cut. Perfect. All right, now, how good was that pass? Like, was she open? Yes, she was open. All right, so get them to throw that pass, especially here, all right, in practice, because to build the courage to throw that pass in a game, she's probably not going to throw that pass. Sorry, was it he? Who threw that pass? My bad, sorry. All right, now firstly, you drive me insane, all right? Unless there's been an email from FIBA about changing the rules, usually one colour plays with one colour and the other colour plays with the other colour. All right, Nick, did I miss something? Is this a jack jumper? No? All right, good. Let's go gold versus white. Players, see? Players. All right? Now, but we want to celebrate the small wins too. That was a brilliant pass, but what was better was, did you cut? Was it you? She cut wanting the ball. To Gareth's point, she cut with intent. All right? How often do you see kids pass, cut, and why they're cutting? So they don't get yelled at. Because coach said cut. Jason Smith, former Sydney King and former Boomers captain, he's probably the best basket cutter I've ever seen. He and Glenn Saville. Every cut they did, they honestly believed. Oh, they're a bit delusional. They honestly believed they were going to get open. They were open. But what it did, it made them great. Because they cut with intent. They didn't cut because Gorge said cut. They didn't cut because someone's yelling. They're like, I'm going to get open. I'm open. Give me the ball. And they're staring at that guy. Now, what they can't see out of their derriere is there's 3 help defenders behind and just get about to. But to them, they're like, give me the ball. I'd rather have to fix that. I'd rather have to fix that than constant cutting, and then what are we going to end up with? Ball screen. So we move, we cut, and then what's some little guard going to do? Oh, come here and screen for me, make the game all about me, let's go. All right? So you've got to get them to be brave enough to cut with intent, but brave enough to throw that pass. Now, I'm not saying anarchy rules and we want 50 turnovers. But here, in the practice setting, I'm okay with turnovers, as long as they're turnovers of a positive nature. All right, so now what we've got is this. You jump in whenever you want. Come up here a little bit more. So, a bit wider. So as you come down and make that pass, now stop. The really good players cut on the back of their pass. So right now, she had pretty good inertia to pass. What's there?
Straight line.
A straight line, and there's nothing. So you're going to cut through there. You're going to the front of the rim. If she's open, give it to her. All right? Now, if you go there, which often happens, now we've got issues. So what have you got to do? All right? Now you can do one of two things. You can dribble to that spot, so we've got space, which will drag her up, or you can cut, stay there, cut, all right, pass it, straight through here, front of the rim, and then you get to that corner. If you watch the really good dribble drive teams around the world, it's a bad term, dribble drive. You know, people talk about the dribble drive offense. It's a cutting offense. All right, this is dribble drive basketball. It's a cutting. They're great at cutting through their pass. So as I come down and make that pass, I'm already cutting. And what we're doing is we're creating dominoes a lot earlier. We want to get into that creation of offensive dominoes as quickly as we possibly can. So now start higher. So same thing, if you throw it here, right, just, no, this is what I want. We're coming down. All right, I'm at tempo, he's here. I get there, no, so just stay there. If I get that he doesn't jump to the ball, boom, and I'm cutting before she catches it. Now people say, well, what's the use with that? And I know you guys here in the BTAS program have that great cue, make sure the ball has eyes. But some cuts are sacrificial. So if you make that great pass on the move and you cut right through your pass, go with him. Stay. You go. What's here now? What we call a double gap. So now she just drives. So the cut, keep going, lift. Now she's trying to get at the front of the rim. The advantage we've got now is we've got single side tag. What I mean by that is he's got to make a decision. If she beats her, does he help? Or does he stay? All right? So by cutting, the first cut, you're not getting anything from. You're not going to get a score. What you are going to do is create a domino. Does everyone understand what I mean by single side tag? So it's that guy. There's one help defender. There's one tag defender. They've got to make a decision. Now, one person can only be in one place. They can't be in two. So we want to move to get that situation. Now they can do the first of their great loves. Drive, kick, three. But only after they've moved. So let's do that. Some people call this a Blair cut. Right, it's a common term. So Blair cut, which just means pass, and you're just going in the inertia of your movement. Right? I just say cut through your pass. Right? So instead of bang, cut, it's bang, and I'm still going. It's all about inertia. Let's see if we can get that done. Go. Good. All right, come back. Now, good. I don't mind the turnover, but she's being too passive. Even if she caught that, what's she going to do? Not much, all right? So she did a great job. All right, go. Look at this. Go. All right? Now, she's on the front of the rim, or she's attacking single side tag. So anytime that you go guard to guard like that, particularly in transition, see if they can get on that. Again, if you Google Blair cut, and don't ask me how to spell it because I'm not real bright, that's why I say cut on the move, cut through your pass. All right, let's go. Let's see if we can get that done. Cut with great intent. Here we go. Good. Go. Good. Now play basketball. That's fine. Oh. Good. Good girl. All right, the other thing that'll do, what's your name? Maddie. All right. For someone like Maddie, who's a developing post player, all right, and often they're just out there trying not to make a mistake, trying to stay out of the road because they know that the guards think they rule the world. All right? If you've got a developing post player, get him to be a cutter. And she doesn't even realise it. That's like the fourth really good, what I call post cut that she's done. All right? Where she's found herself in the lane with her defender behind it, and that came from cutting. Too often with the big kids, we run them down to the block, we roll the ball in and say, go Shaquille O'Neal. And then they can't turn and dunk it off a 360. You're like, oh, this kid can't play. Sit down. We set them up for failure. So if we teach them to cut, so they're catching the ball on the move, they're catching it where they can have some success, now you got a chance. All right, so just swap over. Girls go to the wing. You guys come up to the guard spots. Quick. The other concept in cutting now is cut on the back of the cutter, and it's a similar thing. So if you run that and you get through that Blair yep. Now, you send it there, all right? Now, so he goes away, you cut on his back, all right? Now, what are you going to probably do? You're going to drive it, all right? So you're going to pull it through and go. So we've got cut, pull through. It's all about creating dominoes. The dribble drive devotees talk about single gap, double gap, triple gap. All right? I don't know what that means. You're out there with a tape measure. All I know is we've created a domino. In other words, the defense is having to move. The defense is no longer where it was. It's having to defend activity. If defense is guarding or defending activity, what's it not guarding? Baloncesto. It's not guarding the ball. All right? Now, yes, if you're out here and you've gone through and that's a loaded side there, so you're coming up, she's guarding the ball, but if everyone else is worried about where their man is because there's cutting, they're not guarding the ball. It's our offense against their defense. So as soon as we can turn it to our offense against one defender, that's not even fair. All right, so let's have a look at that. Let's go guard to guard, hard Blair. Now, you can do one of two things. Hit that on the back and you're through. If she comes early, hit and you're through. All right? Now, has she got a domino? No. So you got to come. You kick it back. What do you do from that spot? You cut. Where are you going to go? Don't fight pressure. If she's that side, where are you going to go? There. What have you got now? You've got one-on-one and you have to one-on-one get it done. All right? I got this great rhyme. You can't even remember the first one. We're moving bodies to get to that. People call it isolation ball. I don't know why people rail, it's just all ISO. That's the game. Move people, get it to a prime mover, get it to a key matchup, and go like the clappers. All right, I used to come down here and we used to get our tails kicked. Right, we'd come to Hobart and Jason Pepper and all those guys would just kick our ass. All right. Well, their coach, you know, you guys weren't saying, hey, everyone shoot the same amount of shots. You and Mark were saying, hey, let's move the ball and get Jason Pepper 20 shots. If we get that, we're going to win. Then we drive up the highway and we play against the Armstrongs. They're not saying, oh, everyone, right? They're moving the ball, end with an Armstrong, go score. That's basketball, all right? That's what we're trying to do here. Now, I'm not worried about the who's who here. I'm just worried about get enough movement that it's one-on-one. And in the rules of basketball, one-on-one's 1-on-0. Unless you've got Damian Martin guarding you, 75% of the fouls are on who? The defense. I've only got to get some semblance of contact and there's an advantage. All right? So now you've got that. Everything's that secondary cut. You're cutting on the move. If you hit that, cut on the move, go. You're on his back now. Stop. If he's doing a great job and jumping to the ball, boom, front of the rim. If you watch Davidson College, the great Bob McKillop, they get that layup 3 times a game. Just pass it, run a hard cut and run the go right behind them. So what do people start doing? Deny it. What do we want them to do as a cutter? We want them to deny it. If we're playing against a team that's, I'm like, yeah, this is on now. Easy scores. So you either hit that and you get cut on the cut, or you go guard to guard and we get the secondary cut. Go. Start up and flow into it. Here we go. Go through, hard, move, good. Perfect. All right, make sure you get that, Ronnie. That's perfect. Makes me look like a good coach. No, what it does, great players. Perfect read, all right? Did we score off the cut? Yes. People go, oh, no, we scored off the dribble. No. No, we got to give credit where credit's due. 2 really purposeful cut, and then, was it you, my friend? Then an elite decision. All right, one-on-one. Get it done. All right? Easy game, this basketball. All right? All right, one more. Let's swap it over. Let's go yellow on, Tasmanian gold on offense. Here we go. No. Was that a cut with intent? Now, it's a good point, and he did it deliberately so I could make this point. Appreciate it. All right? The first cut will set the tone for the offense. The first cut will set the tone. It'll set the tone for tempo. It'll set the tone for intent. All right? So if the guy comes down and just makes that meander cut, all right, it's a great word, the great Bruce Palmer. All right? You can't meander through there. Stop meandering. All right? And there were some other words as well, but we can't use them on video. If the first one's with intent, now we've got a chance. All right? If he makes the cut like that, what are we probably going to end up having to do? Screen. And again, screening's not the devil. But what do we want to do as much as possible? Get as many cuts on the front of the rim early as we can. Get as many rip-throughs on the front of the rim as we can. Get as many one-on-one get-it-dones as we can. Then if we can't get that, ball screen, dribble handoff, flare screen, do all that stuff, knock yourself out. But the rent money is you're going to cut early. All right? I'm showing my Adelaide 36ers with Phil Smythe. All right? Elite offensive team, great shooters, but cut. Just Brett Maher, great cutter. All right? Darnell, great cutter. They just put so much pressure on. Were you in those teams? All right? Mark Nash, great cutter. All right? He was waiting, wasn't he? All right? But great cutters that moved with intent and then all of a sudden 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. But they didn't just come down and do that. All right, so now, don't let me down a second time, my brother. Here we go. Good cut. Yep, cut it, finish your cuts, finish your cuts. That's fine, good girl. Decision. All right, stop. So on the breakdown of play, usually in a game we would get to some sort of shape, whether it's pick and roll or whatever else. On that breakdown, if you can get to a cut, that's almost impossible to guard. So in that situation, play had the ball out top, you were dancing. What cut did you have? Yeah, just then, back cut. So if she back cut, it was a guaranteed layup. Now that's not criticising her, all right? But when it gets out of shape, and it didn't, it looked like a dog's breakfast out there for a while. Someone just straightened the point of attack. You know, AFL country. You know, what do the elite teams have? Someone eventually to straighten it, come out of the square and take a big contested clunk and go back and score, all right? Basketball's the same. We're around the boundary, we just need someone to straighten us up so we can get things. Because where are we trying to attack? Front of the rim. The game's easy if we're attacking the front of the rim. Really good job, guys. Let me have a look at my scandal sheet here. All right, so we've just done a series of cutting, and if I'm running practice, I'm going to let the players know we're going to work on our cutting. So I'm going to let them know and frame their thought process, but I'm also going to let them know what I value in that next window of practice. It doesn't mean that we don't talk about other skills and we don't two-way teach and all those things, but I'm going to, hey, we're going to work on our cutting. All right? We didn't get as many cuts at the front of the rim when we played the other day at Moona. You know, let's get back to who we are, what we do. All right? But I'm going to get to the hole quickly. We won't do that today, but 3-on-3, 4-on-4, but it's got to be applied. So you've got to put the fifth guys in there and find a way to play. All right? Particularly, we don't have a lot of post players. We've got Maddie, who's sort of inside, outside. Well, practice has got to be fun for her too. So I've got to run around on the perimeter like she's 5'2". Well, she's not. She's 6'2". So game's hard out there. So what we would move to there is 5-on-5. But I want to talk about cutting off the ball screen now. And you think, well, hold it. You've just spent an hour criticising the ball screen. Right? Ball screen's no issue, but my big thing is whether it's the ball screen, whether it's the dribble handoff, or now really common in basketball, the stationary handoff, or some people call it gets. They're solutions on offense, and that's what we're trying to look at. We're trying to find solutions to create dominoes. So ways that we can impact the defense. They're not the solution. And as I travel around all of Australia, I see a lot of young players, young teams, and young coaches think the ball screen is the solution. It's not. It can't be the crutch every time something doesn't go right. The other issue with ball screens at the youth level, it's really good for the handler. Sometimes it's okay for the roller. The other three guys might as well go get a frozen Coke because you're just out there trying to stay out of the road. All right? Well, we know at the next level, international level, the ball screen's about the movement of 5 people. Ball screen's as much about cutting as it is about dribbling. So we're going to go 4-on-4 shakes. And what I mean by that is, just give me someone, a handler here. Yeah, get in, jump in, yeah. Being defended. All right. You're not, so I need, Maddie, jump up there. You're opposite, and you're in that corner. All right? So come to this spot a little bit. Now you're going to come and set that pick, Maddie. You're up in that opposite what we call slot or shake spot. Yeah, there's fine. You see this a lot. Don't worry about the alignment so much, but basically the shakes alignment is a very common alignment in transition, and all it is, you know, you've seen horns. It's just horns on the side. All right? And years ago we used to call this forwards out. And when we're trying to pull people away from the basket, let's go forwards out. All right? So this is a post player, this is a handler. Often this is like a four-man, like a power forward or a multifaceted player, and that's probably a shooter. So traditionally, we come off it, Maddie rolls. If you can't throw it straight to Maddie, you throw it there. She looks in. If you can't do it, you might throw it there. Maddie, you come and post up. All right? And then you might screen away from him, or you cut, and then we just play. It's just something to get us into action. But all that's about how many players? Basically 2. You know, the guard, can they get off and get penetration, and then can we get the post player inside? It's not bad basketball. What ends up happening, ball back here, as we shake it, you're off here. No, go back. You're here. So we load up defensively, and it's not a defensive clinic, but we know this is happening. So we load up here, and remember there's an extra guy that's probably sitting in here because his player's in the corner. So after a while they run it, he tries to turn the corner, right? She slows him up, she bumps the cutter, and there's nothing here, all right? We don't get anything off it, and that's when we get poor decisions by the handler. That's when we get the 1-on-3. Come and sit with me. All right? We want to give them tools. So, rather than just focus here, go back. We're going to work on see a head, see a shoulder. So as you come off, you roll out, freeze, Maddie. Stay exactly where you are. Don't move a single muscle. You moved your eyes. All right, good girl. What do you see? Do you see a head or a shoulder? She's looking there, and again, that's terminology. You see the back of her head. Can she see out her derriere? No. Cut. All right, you're through that. Now, if she doesn't go, you've got a layup. If he helps on that, we've got a wide open 3. If she does go, what have you got now? You've got a lane or a double gap, just by cutting. All right? So let's look at that. Let's look at that. Good. Fine, play. Now, that was pretty good. Sorry, what's your name, number 50? Neve. Neve forgot to cut momentarily. Right, she wasn't quite sure what I wanted her to do. What solution did she come up with? I loved it. Cut anyway. She realised she was late, but instead of going, oh, screw this, the whole thing's gone to hell in a handbasket, oh no, she just cut anyway. What did that happen? So, let's walk through it again. Even though this is a ball screen concept, she went late. But when she finally went, what did this guy do? Which is human nature, because where are we attacking? Over the front of the rim. Look at him now. Wide open 3-point shot. So we created by her cut dominoes. Look at all these fallen dominoes in here. No one out there. And even if it goes out there, look at the size of this closeout. Throw it. All right? What can you do if you're ripped through and you're trying to get to the rim as well? All right? So if you're going to play horns or horns on the side or shake it, teach cutting. Because what it'll do, it'll freeze defenders. Right now, again, in youth basketball, if I see this, I just load everything to the ball. Because I know what it's about, the ball. The handler. Who's the best player in 9 out of 10 junior teams? The point guard, the two guard, right? Because, they're little, they're coordinated earlier. You've seen it, And then as life goes on, it changes. So, but against good teams, you're going to have to cut. But with that theme, if he really loads hard, see your head, see your shoulder. As that's happening, go. Now, come hard here. What's our problem now? Freeze. What's our problem now? Remember the 3 tenets of offense. We need spacing, ball movement, player movement. How's our spacing? Not great. What's the problem? There is none. What? Bit cryptic, hey? So, even though they're coming together, she's coming to the front of the rim, he's flying there. All right? Fly. Now, go, throw it back. Oh, no problem at all. Now, years ago, coaches, me included, would have a conniption if 2 cutters went at the same time. Right? Oh, the spacing, what are you doing? Now, as long as we get the other S word, separation, look what we get. We get our dominant post player with a guard on her right at the front of the rim, just by doing what? Cutting. Not dribbling, not screening, all right? Going from there. So, set that up again. Let's go, stay here, friend. Be right in the corner. These facilities are great, but I've got no idea which line it is. I'd step out of bounds 10 times. Imagine Shane Hill commentating here, he'd be angry at players stepping out of bounds all the time. All right? So, sometimes we have a loaded corner. So come off it. Now, what we want to do is eliminate this nail defender as much as we can. Because if she's able to stay here, he doesn't have an underpick, you're going to help. So if it's a loaded corner, so in other words, there's someone on that side, you be a cutter. All right, cut right to the front of the rim. All right, now where would you go? Here comes Maddie, he's in that corner. Where would you go? Yeah, then you would go away. All right? And now what have you got? You've got a domino, so you're coming in here. She helps up. Come here, Maddie. And what do we get again? Our big on the front of the rim through what? Cutting. Not through having to screen, not having to, to do a calculus lesson out there, geometry. Just cut someone. Create an advantage through that. Back you go. If he loads to the ball, he's guarding him. See your head, see your shoulder. Look at the ball. See your head, you're on your pony. He's gone. Come off it. All right? Now, if we've got nothing, all right? Keep coming. Go back out where you come from. What are you going to do? What have you got now? Either that or that, and what have you got? That. Again, what created that? The cut. Come back. He sees ahead and he goes all the way through. As he's going, you cut and go all the way through. What have you got? You've got this, right? You're trying to get at the rim. Eventually she's going to help. What have we got? That. Now, stop. If she helps in here, because Maddie's just scored 7 points in a row, now what have we got? That. We've manipulated dominoes through cutting to get an open shot. And now, if she doesn't shoot that 3-point shot, I'm upset. I've been railing on the 3-point shot all day, but now if she doesn't take it, sit down. All right, we're not going to get a better shot than that. You've got to shoot that shot because we've created those dominoes. All right? So let's stay in that corner. Let's shake it and just play off that. Let's read defense. Read defense, see if we can get some cutting out of the ball screen. Play. Good. Good. Be patient. There it is. Play, play. Good. And again, white going up. Now, freeze. Because we spent the whole time talking about cutting, now they're not playing. You know, so everything's layered. We still want them to come off ball screens looking to score, right? That's the first tenet. We want them to come off ball screens looking to score. We want them to hit the roller, all right? Because we talk about roller, but what's the roller? They're a cutter. That's a cut, all right? Then we try and punish any sort of help by cutting. So I know you're doing a great job, guys. Really, really good job. But be basketball players. Be basketball players. All right? In other words, if you see an opportunity, play. Start up a little bit, dribble into it, run into it, play. Pretty good. Keep it white. Now, little nuance. What did you do? She came off the screen, or he came off the screen. What did you start to do? Yeah, well then what did you realize? Yeah, she's being shy. I said, what did you start to do? She said, cut. Then what did you realize? That there was no space in there, it was too crowded. The next thing, what did you do? She cut again. She did cut again, but she just went back to where she was. That's a cut in itself. That's smart basketball. So her first thought process, can I cut? She went to do it, realized that it wasn't time to cut, so she just made another one. Now we've got space. What's the first tenet of our team offense? Space. All right? So even though she's looking at me like, is he complimenting me? Yeah, I'm complimenting you. All right? If you give them that mentality, can I be a cutter? Can I create a domino? And then the answer is no. No problem. I bet you something good will happen. Gold ball. Good job. Now let's get some cut with intent. Now, the other cut that we can do out of this alignment and any time with ball screen is the slip. So come here, Maddie. So you're coming, she starts loading up, all right, ready, come there. You see that? Right through there. All right, so she cuts, where's she cutting? Front of the rim. As he penetrates, see ahead. Where are you cutting? Front of the rim. Where are you driving? Front of the rim. Single side tag, wide open three. Again, he doesn't shoot that, I'm annoyed. He shoots one where there hasn't been cuts, I'm annoyed. All right? That's a great thing about being a coach. You can be annoyed and there's no comeback by the players. All right? What's the greatest saying in coaching? Because I said so. All right? But, so we're going to create dominoes. Go back, Mads, and I want you to sprint. Then you read it, whether you're going to cut or space. If you see ahead, what can you do? You can cut. And if all that happens, what have we got there? One-on-one. What's he got to do? he's got to get it done. And then we're playing basketball. It's a pretty easy game. All right? That's what we got. Here we go. Slip, slip. Good, that's fine. Work it out. All right, go again, go again. This is where you've got to be comfortable with the mess. What happened there? All three people cut at the same time, so there was no space. 10 years ago, I would have been throwing things, and then you go, well, hold it, you want them to cut. All you've been speaking about for an hour and a half is cutting. They cut and you've got the shits. That's not fair, all right? And that is modern day coaching. You've got to be fair. That my way or the highway, because I said so, it doesn't wash. All right, you can't change the rules. So guys, all I'm saying with that is, see a head, cut. See a shoulder, space. But if you go to cut and she cuts, one of you's got to abort. All right? So I'm going to say to her, go. So she keeps going on a cut. Now you can lift or you can cut. So it's just about getting the rhythm and the dance a little bit and understanding they're not an island out there. All right, last one, let's go. But whoa, 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 whoa. As a screener, Matty, you've got to be a bit sneaky. All right? Now, they know you're slipping, but you've got to run over there, yell his name, screen, and then boom, you leave as early or late as you want. That's the other thing. If you want to slip screeners, all right, people say they've got to leave it there. You can leave as early or late as you want. When are you leaving? All right? When your sneakiness has worked. When they turn their head, bang, gone. All right? Here we go, Matt. Good cut. Good job. All right. Guys, just grab a quick drink and then come and sit here for me. Now, obviously in a game, there's a fifth player. And people say, oh, well, you know, it's harder with a fifth player because there's another defender. Yeah, but there's another offensive player too, all right? And always remember when you're teaching offense, the offense can act quicker than the defense can react, right? That's why our game's better than soccer. If I was a soccer coach, I'd never do an offensive clinic. I'd spend 80 minutes out of 100 defending in training. Why? You might win 1-0. Basketball, you're not going to. So you better have some offensive concept, you better have some offensive skill, and you better be able to teach it effectively. All right? Before we go to any questions or anything you want me to touch on, I thought these guys were just superb. And Ronnie does a great job with the video, and we'll share this nationally. And what they just did and the way they were able to pick up concepts and listen and adjust, I just thought that was some of the best demonstrating that I've done. I do 30, 40 clinics a year. So can we thank these guys? I thought it was tremendous. Probably the worst question you can ask at the end of an hour and a half talking is, any questions? Yeah, the main one is, can we go home now? All right, but is there any questions or any clarification on that anyone wants to touch on? Nick and I'll hang around a little bit after too if you just want to talk more individually. We'll send you these notes, which is a really rough guide for what we just covered. It just gives you the drills and some teaching points. But like all coaches, I went on a tangent, so the accuracy of these is probably not where it should be. But certainly the video, and as I said, you know, Ronnie, the amount of work he does for basketball in this state is superb, and he's always helping with these resources. And so we'll get the video to you as well so you can have a look at it. So if there's no questions, again, on behalf of Basketball Australia, thanks for coming out. Thanks for what you do with youth basketball and association basketball in general. I'm lucky, I don't have a real job. This is my real job. That's my aim in life, not to have a real job till I retire. Just go around talking basketball and sharing ideas. Pretty cool. All right? I know you guys have to fit in a real job, family, and then, you know, hours and hours of coaching from volunteers. So we really respect it and we really appreciate it. And you know, it's an exciting time for Tasmanian basketball. You know, the youth teams and the youth programs are kicking goals. I think we had 4 Tasmanians at a national under-19 camp just last week in Canberra. Obviously the Jack Jumpers is going to be, you know, a fantastic boon, and of course the NBL 1 clubs are always unfortunately hard to play against down here. So, you know, well done on what you're collectively doing to make this a great basketball state. Thanks, guys.